Hello everybody, this is Kyrix with another episode of This Week in Kyrix. Today is Wednesday, February 20th, 2019. Give me a moment to adjust my volume to a level that I want. There we go. Okay. So, I've begun my first 40-hour work week. Under the old 32-hour schedule, I'd actually be done right now because, well, you know, I've worked 32 hours. But no, I go back on Friday. So, no, we're not gonna, hold on. Alright, we're gonna start here and just look at these and see what's promising. No, I don't want to be in the... No, that looks vaguely radioactive. That's cold as shit. I don't like the cold. Prison could be fun. Finery. Let me just check some here. Well, that's a big one, though. It's a medical facility. Is that an office building? I kind of like the office building, not gonna lie. Ooh, that's nice. Did Evil Science already. That sounds like more Zero Gravity, and I'm not in the mood for more of that. So it's between Penitentiary and Uprising. You know what? Let's go with Uprising. That sounds fun. So anyway, it seems 40 hours is now the new normal for me. Because I just looked at my schedule because I was confirming something. I think my days off alternate. Like this week it's Wednesday and Thursday, next week Monday and Tuesday, next week Wednesday and Thursday, and so on. So I think Friday and my weekends are just done, which I don't care. I'm not a weekend guy. The only reason I care is I do Star Trek on the weekends every now and then. And I was thinking of losing my in-person tournaments already because reasons I've gone over. And I get home early enough so that I can still do leagues. Sorry about that. I've got the hiccups apparently. I can still do leagues, so I'm not worried about that. So yeah, payday's actually tomorrow. I've got a lot going on. I've got to pay the rest of my rent because I've worked out a system with the roommate where I basically pay him half the rent on the first check and half the rent on the second check. And if I get a third check in a month, which will happen in May, that's just for me. And that's going to be an awesome check. But yeah. So, I've got the rent to pay. I've got to pay him the first third of the payment that I owe him. Because I owed him for the laptop and a couple other things. I owe him $345. So I told him I'm going to pay you $145 this check. And then on my 2 checks next month, he's getting $100 each. Which is cool. So I've got rent going out, I got that check going out, I'm gonna put $50 in my Christmas fund, I'm gonna give $50 to Mom, and then I think that leaves me $40 to get to the next 2 weeks. Now, on that note, next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday is the 1st, and on that day I get one of my last disability checks. Not the last one, but one of them. And because of the way I have things set up now, where I just have my checks and all that, and I can deal with my funding and whatnot, I'm basically going to take that. We're going to actually read what I'm supposed to do this time. Okay. So, Alright, let's get a look down. I'm cleaning up a lot of paint in this one. That's okay. Alright, I'm gonna do a thing real quick. I'm getting an unreasonable, for me at least, amount of lag, and I don't want to deal with that lag. Oh, never mind. I thought it was my internet windows open, but they're not really contributing much to it. Alright, let's find, first off, I'm going to need a couple things. I'm going to need my bucket generator, I'm going to need my pail generator, and I'm going to need my furnace. Once I know where those things are, oh, there's my furnace. Cool. Alright, we can start there. Actually, let's start with this side. And yes, I know that it really helps with the furnace to close the door. I'm not in a hurry right now. This is leisurely. This is starting out. Just because it's supposed to take that amount of time doesn't mean it's gonna take that amount of time. Which is one of the things I say about the supervisor all the time at work. We have two main supervisors. And one of them, as I've described to one of my buddies there, one of the supervisors just wants you to get the job done, and the other one wants you to get it fast. And the fast one is where I have a problem because A, I'm still starting out, so I'm not that fast yet. And B, because when you're fast, you aren't necessarily accurate, and then I, on my next shift, have to clean up all the bullshit you did on your last shift, and that's a pain in the ass. Like, okay, how to put this? If you've never worked in any kind of grocery store, the aisles are labeled. Next time you go shopping, like if you go to Walmart, look up and you'll see like, oh, this is 17.1, this is 17.2, 17.3, right? And if you look then at the price tags, it's like, oh, this is 4379-1132-13. Well, that would be aisle 17 for 13. That's how it appears on my thing, you know. And that's how you know where everything is without having to read every goddamn UPC code. Which is the other way we do shit. But anyway, let's use, we had these things, I think they're called quinoa seeds or quinoa seeds, and I had to put them up yesterday. Well, some asshole had a big fucking box of Uncle Ben's Ready Rice in its place, where that was supposed to go. And so I had to move that shit. And it's just fucking stupid. And it's not fucking rocket science. You know, just put it, find out where it goes, put it away. It's the simplest goddamn thing in the world. It's literally your whole job. And yet, people find a way to fuck it up. And it irks me. Because I shouldn't have to do my job and finish your job at the same time. And the real problem I have is when people try to eyeball shit, which is what is encouraged. Because eyeballing shit gets it done faster, because you lose valuable seconds fucking with the scanners that we're supposed to be using. The scanners that I will not work without because, you know, they're kind of part of the job. Well, let's say, for example, we're going with like Hunt's tomato paste, right? And you're like, oh, I've got this big thing of Hunt's tomato paste. Here's Hunt's tomato paste. Boom. Boxed. There you go. Except here's the problem. That's not where Hunt's tomato paste goes. That's where Hunt's tomato paste with no salt goes. Look almost identical, and if you stopped and looked at it for a second, you'd notice, oh, this is no salt added. It needs to go one to the left, because that's where the one with salt goes. But here's the thing, when you're in a hurry, you're not going to take that half-second glance, and then I have to move your shit so that my shit can go up. You know, when you do your job right, you make it easier on all of us. Yeah, it takes a couple seconds longer, but that's bullshit that no one else has to deal with later. So, yeah, anyway, I've got, like I said, I've got the disability check coming. And I have plans for it. As I put it, I'm still in the process of basically learning how to... Fucking bullets. Learning how to assign my finances in such a way that, come May, I will be subsisting entirely off my work checks. Which is the goal. That's what I want. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to be in a situation where I keep getting this extra $7.91 a month. But that's not going to happen. And once I stop this, I will have to start paying that back, hopefully in reasonable installments. But I'm not too concerned with that because basically I'm making... Alright, if I just pull my hours, if I just pull my 8-hour shift, you know, clock in exactly on time, clock out exactly on time, no extra bits and kibbles, I'm looking at $7.30 a day. Or not a day, $7.30 a pay cycle. You may have just heard me say that I make $7.91 on disability. That means I have damn near doubled what I used to make in a month. I've basically gone from only needing a couple hundred extra bucks to do whatever I want to having significantly more than that. And it's fucking awesome is what it is. But anyway, that plan, I'm gonna go at my work actually, and I am going to pick up a new laptop because the one I had before is... Now, not this laptop. This laptop, by the way, is working just fine, but the old one, the one I had to cycle in ages ago to do things with, you know, where it was my laptop for the longest time, and then I got this, and this is fucking awesome. Well, that laptop... I did something to it. I mentioned this before, but I'm mentioning it again. The thing's been deteriorating. Like, the case has actually been falling apart. And in this particular case, no pun intended, the part where you plug the power source into it is broken. Like, you can see that piece actually sticking out now, because the case won't hold it anymore. And apparently one of the connectors is fried because I can plug it in and get nothing. Which means the battery won't charge, which means I had to basically shop at a store in Europe on eBay to get an external battery charger. So I can get about an hour of juice out of it after an hour and a half of charging. Not that big a deal. I mean, it's not like everything on the computer's lost. I just have to slowly move it from one hard drive to the next. No big deal. I've got this. But I do want to still have that laptop, or a second laptop, rather. So that's one of the things I'm going to be buying with that disability check, is a new laptop. Not a big one, not like this. This was kind of a big deal laptop. This was my new gaming laptop that I needed for recording and shit. This is just a Kyrix uses this for shits and giggles laptop. No big deal. Nothing major. So, that did go in. Also, I need a PS4. And on top of all that shit, I also need, and this is the biggie, I have found a 2DS with a capture card in it. And I'm gonna get it. It's gonna be mine. I'm gonna purchase it. It will belong to me. I will own it. You know? And that's gonna be fucking cool. Because that means I can finally record 3DS games. And even DS games. Because there's a lot of DS games that I've wanted to play that are just... they're not compatible. Like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, for whatever reason, have really good copy protection, so I can't emulate them easily. Or at all, in some cases. So, like, I'll be able to do, because I now own it, I think Pokemon Black? So I'll be able to do a Pokemon Black Let's Play because I have the game in person, you know. I'll be able to do Bravely Default and Bravely Second. I'll be able to do Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gate to Infinity and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Super, or Super Mystery Dungeon, rather. So all these games that I've been wanting to do forever, you know, Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Ultra Moon, Pokemon Omega Ruby, Pokemon X, and so on. All those games that I so deeply love. There we go. Burn, you little fucker. Those are going to be on the block to be done. And that's really fucking cool. You know, it just flat out is really fucking cool. At worst, that might make... Really? You fell out? You absolute whore. Alright. So yeah, those are all things that are on the block. I'm gonna get a new laptop. I'm gonna get a new capture card, 2DS. It's gonna be great. But most importantly, I'm gonna get my own PS4. And that's going to be, again, next Friday. Now, my schedule's taking quite a hit, because I now only have 2 days off a week. But I basically decided that, besides days off, which, let's face it, are mostly going to be errands and shit, I am also going to make it a point to try... Because I get up early. Here's the thing. My work day starts at 2 p.m. I try to clock in around 1:51 a.m., but I'm there no later than 1:30. So I go in early. You know, like I leave here about 12:55 at the latest. You know. Okay, here's this machine. That's good to know. And there's my buckets. Cool. Alright, I can deal with this. Alright, now because that furnace is so goddamn far away, so annoyingly, atrociously far away, we're gonna make some meatballs. Plus I gotta weld this thing anyway. I gotta weld a lot of shit actually. So let's make some meatballs first. But yeah, the PS4, now, for the most part, that's not going to affect y'all. That's mostly so that I can play a PlayStation 4. Because, you know, I own all these games and I want to play them. But, I'm going to do some recording in the mornings. Because, yeah, let me finish that thought before moving on to the next. Basically, I have an alarm set to wake me up at 10 p.m. to get everything ready. But 9 times out of 10, I'm up by 8 a.m. instead. I just am. It's not something I do intentionally. I just wake up at 8. Ready to start the day. So that's the thing. I'm not like a lot of people. I don't have a big warm-up period. I'm just awake, and I'm good to go. You know, there's no... It's one of the reasons I don't drink coffee is because I don't need to drink coffee. Because I'm just one of those people. I don't know if I'd necessarily be called a morning person, but when I wake up, I am awake. I need very little time to, you know, get my body into the groove. If I'm fucking exhausted, I could take as long as 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes, but I'm good to go. Ooh, I have multiples of these things? That's pretty cool. But, so yeah. What did I just blow up? I melted something, and I hope it was something I was supposed to melt. Look, I don't care about the soot, because I'm still in the process of cleaning shit. I haven't started mopping yet, so if shit gets sooty, it gets sooty. Anyway, I'm probably going to be doing my recordings during that period, like the block of about 8 a.m. to maybe 11 a.m. Which doesn't sound like much, but that does give me 3 hours. I could, not that I do this, but I could record 3 episodes of This Week in Kyrix in that time, just as an example. Or shit, 3 episodes of Metal Gear. So, I mean, it's not a small amount of time, really. I mean, compared to what I'm used to, yeah, it's pretty pathetic, but in general, that's a good block of time, plus my days off for recording. With the PlayStation living in my room, I will likely be doing a lot more recordings on the PlayStation itself, rather than, say, oh, I don't know, trying to capture card it. Although I will make an attempt to capture card. Oh, why is it bloody? Okay. But yeah, I will make an attempt to use the capture card at some point, because I do have one. It just has a tendency to record shit in black and white for some goddamn reason. Or at least it did on the old laptop. Maybe this new one will be better. But, so yeah, I've got things like I've got to record Shantae, I've got to record some other stuff. And one of the things that stopped me from doing a lot of PS4 stuff is just the sheer difficulty of getting everything to happen. Like, I gotta find a window to record it in because the roommate's using it. I've gotta actually do the recording. I've gotta do the transfer, which is like, oh, hey, can you, on a commercial, can I flip this over and start the transfer? Cool. Can I get the USB out? Cool, etc. And then the process. But if it's all in my room, then I just turn off the TV and shit, Because that's the thing, the PS4 is going to be connected into the TV all the time and never into the computer itself, so it's not going to have that particular headache to fall back on. If you know what I mean. It's just not a concern I'm going to be having. And, so yeah, I will do some more PS4 stuff. Like I said, XCOM 2 is still done. It's just waiting for me to do stuff. And now that I have a job, that backlog is more important than ever because I have less time to be shitting around, If I want consistent uploads, it's going to require me to do all the shit in advance. And part of me, now that I've started work, has toyed with the idea of reducing my upload schedule. Oh, god damn it, now I burned a new hole that I have to now weld. And so far I'm not going there yet, because one of the things I like is the fact that my channel churns out constant content when it does. And as I discovered before, once I get this backlog going, which it was originally supposed to be in April, but it's gotten pushed back for obvious reasons. But once I get this content flowing, like I have a nice backlog for an entire year, even on the schedule that I have to record in, I will have all the time in the world to keep that going. Because the way I go, like I said, just using a 3-hour block as an example, 3 hours is enough for me to record if I'm doing like a half an hour ago. For example, that's fucking 6 episodes. That's almost a week's worth of content right there, just while getting ready for work. And because I don't fuck with editing and stuff at the moment, that means that that's just ready to upload. And if it's a game that doesn't require grinding, or much grinding, like for example, let's say I'm playing Super Mario World, a game with really no grinding. I mean, save for going back to top secret area to get a new Yoshi and 2 new feathers and shit like that, which isn't really grinding, it's more like backtracking. But let's say I want to do Super Mario World, for example. I can effectively knock that whole game out in like 3 days, you know. And because there's no grinding, it's like I'm going to finish a video, rename the video, take a breath, pee if I have to, etc., and then boom, next recording, next recording, next recording. You know what I mean? And that's just the kind of work schedule I'll have for Let's Play. Okay, good. So I mean, once I get started, I can maintain it pretty effortlessly. It's like pushing a cart to the top of the hill. Yeah, that push is gonna really suck, but once you get to the part where you get to toss it downhill, well, the phrase "it's all downhill from here" exists for a reason. I'm pretty sure that's graffiti. Alright, so let's see. I've got a bunch of meatballs. I've repaired a lot of the walls. Here's more that needs repair work. Yeah, that's definitely a bullet hole. And that's definitely me missing the bullet hole. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing some more PS4 recordings. Part of it is because I don't agree with the censorship that comes with the built-in streaming, where it's like, oh, you found a cutscene, we're stopping recording, you know. And I've been watching, like, Markiplier, for example, doing Resident Evil 2, and it doesn't seem to do that bullshit. Maybe that's a thing they're hopefully stopping, because they realize, well, these assholes are just going to use their capture cards anyway, you know? So why bother protecting people from spoilers? Which you're not, by the way, because the whole reason we're here is to get spoilers. Some of us don't have access to every system. Like, up until I got this job, I figured that I would finally have access to Resident Evil 2 within, 6 months, that I would finally get around to playing it. Get out of there, you bastard. Oh great, now it's really far back there. God damn it. Maybe I can flat out melt the shit down. Time to try, I guess. Time to melt that meatball. Pretty sure I got it. Also pretty sure I made a huge goddamn mess. And completely sure that I don't care. Let's just for shits and giggles, let me try it. Because if I can destroy the meatballs that way, I'm gonna. But anyway, I keep straying from the point that, not only am I gonna be recording stuff on the PS4 finally, there's something in particular that I have in mind. Okay, now, as y'all know, I have on my channel a Let's Play of Resident Evil Revelations 2 that is more or less 100% run. I've beaten the game. I've gotten both endings for Claire. Like I've gotten the good ending, I've gotten the bad ending. I have gotten all the little collectibles, the unlockables and shit. Shit. Will it let me take this meatball? It will. Okay, cool. And all that's really left in that game is to do the 2 bonus modes, which are like Invisible Enemy and Time Attack. Well, I think I've described in previous videos that those modes are pretty much impossible for me just for me, to do with one person. Because, well, I mean, for starters, the time attack mode, the timer never stops even during quote-unquote cutscenes. Because they're not full-on cutscenes, but they are dialogue parts where half your interfaces won't work and you can't change characters, you know what I mean? And that's effectively a cutscene. That's a cutscene in all but name. The problem is, there are certain parts where you're Claire, for example, and you really need to be Moira. And it won't just let you switch to Moira and do those things. You have to sit there for 5 minutes as Claire while the timer's ticking down and you're like, God, Moira or Claire can't do this. Let me switch to Moira. No, Claire has to talk first. No, let me be Moira. No, gotta listen to Claire. You know, and it's just bad. You know, it's counterintuitive. It makes the game artificially difficult because it's hard enough to beat the game in a time span. I mean, it's doable. I've done, to an extent, I've done it, you know. But it's not, it doesn't need to be inflated to an artificial level of difficulty like that, you know. It just doesn't. That's entirely ungoddamn necessary. So, basically what I need is I need a second person to play with. And the point behind that is, they're playing Claire, I'm playing Moira, so when we hit that spot specifically, we're not going to be there all day because I can just run up and do the thing I need to do. And then the second person does the things they need to do, and we coordinate and all that fun shit. And as it turns out, Resident Evil Revelations 2 is also a PS4 game and relatively cheap. I looked it up last night. I'm thinking, oh, am I going to have to pay $50 for this thing? No, I can get it for like 10 or so. But what I'm probably going to do is get the bundle for $40, which is all the stuff from ResRev 2, as well as ResRev 1, etc. You know, going to get Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 5, and I can't speak for 7 because I've purposely avoided everything having to do with 7 because I don't want spoilers because I plan to play it eventually. But for those other Resident Evils, ResRev 2, Res 5, Res 6, those are two-player games. And that's what I wanted to test. I wanted to see if I could just mop this thing up and then incinerate, but that's not viable. Okay. Alright, lesson learned. But anyway, a friend of mine, who, by the way, I am hiring starting next month to do some yard work for us, because he has a yard work company. You know, I mean, I'd throw him an actual on-air shout-out, but A, I don't exactly have a huge viewer base, and B, I guarantee none of my viewer base, aside from my friends, lives anywhere near here. And I mean, if you're out in another fucking state, it's not going to do him any good. It's like, hey, can you drive up to Illinois and cut my grass? No. Shit, just for the gas alone, you'd be better off getting a lawnmower and doing that shit yourself. Ah, okay, that's what they're all pissy about, the robots. But yeah, this friend, it's been kind of a rough couple months, so his work is dried up a bit. I mean, he's still working, but he's not working like he wants to be working. You know what I mean? I mean, it's, to put it in more universal terms, he's basically been losing a lot of hours. It's not quite how the lawn care business works, but it'll do for an explanation. And, you know, what with my days off being defined now, I basically said, hey, would you be interested in coming over on those days that I have off and just doing Resident Evil and shit with me? He's like, yeah, we'll do that. Because longtime viewers might remember that used to be Anubis's job. Like, he and I got about halfway through Resident Evil 5, actually. Maybe a little more. And then I moved, and things just got real stupid, you know? Like, it became a nightmare to get him over here, because, quite frankly, he can't just... Well, he can walk, but by the time he walks, it's not even worth it anymore. And I don't have access to a car to come and get him. Bus travel from Largo to St. Pete is like 2 hours. You know, it's not a fun commute. In order to even make it worth the time, much less the bus fare itself, you would have to have like 5 straight hours of recording just to make it worth it. And I tried for a while to try and get him up here to do that, and after a while I just gave up. You know, it's just accepted the fact he was never super into it to begin with, and I'm imagining that it was like with me in HeroClix, where I just needed the excuse to retire. And he has, from what I can tell, basically retired from Let's Playing, and that's fine. You know, it's not for everyone. But if someday I might put that footage up, because it wasn't bad. But this other friend and I, he has, I think, once or twice appeared in an old-ass video. But he's expressed a lot of interest. It's just schedules being what they are. You know, he has expressed a lot of interest in getting in and helping me with the channel in the past. And this will be a good way for us to team up, because he's a competent gamer. So he can keep up with me. He's good at shooter games, so he can cover for me. And the best part is, because it'll be on the PS4, I can get a second headset. And they'll just plug into our controllers, and we don't have to cuddle next to the goddamn laptop to be heard. And he heard that, and he got real excited. He's like, wow, we don't have to snuggle? Great. And I use that term a lot when talking about doing dual recordings, like cuddling, snuggling, etc. It's because we are, and I'm not exaggerating in this, sitting with our fucking hips touching to get close enough for the mic to pick us both up. I'm not kidding when I say it's a cuddle fest. Although at some point, I imagine I'm going to try and get some microphones and shit, because for the first time, it's feasible for me to get equipment, you know? I mean, even if I don't get a raise, the raise that has been rumored to kick in next month, even if that raise doesn't materialize, I'm looking at basically a couple $100 extra bucks each month that I'm not used to having. And even when you take out like my savings account shit and the money that I'm giving my mother, that still leaves me about $200 a month to fuck with. And that doesn't take into account raises, bonuses, fucking tax returns and that eventuality and shit. So I mean, I have the means to improve shit. I have the means to pay for shit, to upgrade shit, finally. And it's something that I will, as time goes on, look into doing. Now, there are going to be certain roadblocks to this system. Like I said, I'm almost certainly going to have to pay back disability the money that I had since I started the appeal process. That was something that was on the contract when I first signed it, and my response was, I'll worry about that later. Right now, I have to not be homeless. And I think everyone's pretty on board with that being a good priority. Don't be homeless. You know? Because there aren't a lot of people who want to be homeless. And even most of them will agree, yeah, this isn't for everyone. You know? Because I personally have met people who didn't mind being homeless. You know, they're like, hey, having a house is great, but if I got it, I'll stay on the streets, you know? And, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that kind of a thing where I have to pay back money, and that's going to put a damper in my finances for quite a while. But put a lot less of a damper than having no money at all would. You know what I mean? Alright, the floor is mostly clean now. Let's get through here. So yeah, he's going to be helping me out with Resident Evil games, and possibly other games in the future, but for now, just Resident Evil. So yeah, that's Res Rev 2, Res 5, Res 6, you know. I'm planning to get other games in the near future. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with the 3DS, or the 2DS rather. So, there's cool shit all around, really. People are fucking twisted. Your heads will look nice in my trunk. And actually later today I'm gonna fire up, oh, what's the word? Final Fantasy 3 and start recording that, because I've been letting that slip. I should get some Cuphead worked on today, because I've really let that slip. I've got a lot on my plate, is what I'm getting at. And speaking of plate, I'm gonna have to eat at some point today. Just one of those unavoidable things. And I've been eyeing some of the roommates' mac and tuna, or not mac and tuna, mac and cheese, because I've had to stock the pasta aisle for the past couple nights, and for those of you who don't know, the pasta aisle has a lot of mac and cheese, and I keep staring at them like the Kraft, the Velveeta, even the Great Value shit. It's just making me hungry. Because I like mac and cheese under normal circumstances, but when I'm fucking starved, you know, it gets so much more pronounced. Okay. I just gotta remember how to get back downstairs. Apparently through all this blood. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And allegedly, because I'm still in the process of working this shit out, allegedly, tentatively, next month is going to be not next month, April. I keep thinking it's the end of February, because I've got the paychecks coming and all that. But yeah, tentatively in April, I'm planning my trip to Gatorland, which everyone's kind of excited about, because, come on, you get to see me wrestle a gator, you know? And I keep saying wrestle a gator. That's kind of a euphemism. It's actually putting on a show, which technically so is wrestling a gator. But I mean, it's like a performed, choreographed act that I'm putting on. So it's not like I'm not wrestling the gator. I'm not in an extreme amount of danger. I mean, obviously there is always the possibility that I'm gonna get the gator who's just having that shitty day, and it decides, I'm going to whip around and bite this asshole. You know? Or I'm going to smack him with my tail and break his shins. That kind of thing. It's not likely. I mean, like I said, gators as a whole are pretty docile. And these gators have probably been raised since hatching to do this exact thing. This is their normal. You know, the shit that I'm doing to them is what happens to them every goddamn day. But sometimes you get sick of the shit that happens to you every goddamn day. And if I get that gator, there is a chance I could get hurt. But I don't think that's a very huge chance. And I'm real excited to get to do it. And everyone else is real excited to see me do it, because half of them just want to see it, and the other half want to see me get bit. Because I have great friends. And I'm still figuring out the mechanics of this. I want to technically... ideally, I want to borrow a digital camera to do this with. But if I have to, I'll try and buy one. Because I want several angles and shit to put this on YouTube. Like, I want to make... I'm not this kind of person, but I do want to make a vlog of it. Like, I want to just, hey, this is Kyrix at the fucking Gatorland, you know? It'll be the second time my face has appeared on YouTube. The first might not even exist anymore. Basically, only a couple people out of my friends have seen that video. For one thing, it wasn't mine, you know. But for a while at least, I don't know if it's still up, because I don't even remember whose channel it was on. For a while, there was a D&D session that I was at in Largo. And in this D&D session, there is a shot of my face at a couple points. So, that's a thing. I have been on Facecam before. And this will be a full-on, hey, this is my face, this is what I look like, this is my body, etc. You know? And if you want to see me fuck around and play with alligators, this is the video that you're looking forward to. You'll be looking forward to it every bit as much as I am looking forward to making it. And just because I'm, you know, need more topics, let's bring up the obvious question, which is, Kyrix, why do you want to play with the gators? Part of it's because I can, you know, because I happen to live in a state where we have them, and have a theme park where you can do this shit. And part of it is because if you ever follow me on social media, or somehow see the videos that I watch and leave comments on, you'll know I have a nickname for gators. I call them swamp kittens, because I know the difference between gators and crocodiles. And they kind of are swamp kittens, you know. And just like a real kitten or a real cat, if you fuck with them, they will fuck you up. But also like a real cat or kitten, they're not going to go out of their way to do it. They've got better shit to do than to mess with humans. And everyone sees crocodiles and equates the two, which is understandable. I mean, it's only in recent years that I've learned to tell the differences between them and learned what the other differences were. Like, not just the physical differences, the temperamental ones. Like, they are completely different animals. Like, I can't even properly convey for you how different the two animals are. I mean, basically they look alike, and that's more or less where the similarities stop. They have different attitudes, different ranges, etc. But yeah, the other part of that is I keep leaving comments on videos, like people show shit with alligators. I'm like, that's not that big a deal, and they're like, oh, you wouldn't do this? Well, this is a chance to put my money where my mouth is and say, so next time I'm on a video, and this is an actual example, where like an 8-year-old girl is riding alligator and someone's like, oh, this is stupid. I'm like, no, it's not. Why don't you do this? I did. Here's the link, you know? But really, it's kind of a bragging rights thing. It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely want to be around the animal itself. But, come on, straight face here. Honesty. How many people you know who could say they've wrestled a gator? You know? I want to be one of those people. It's just something I want. And it's a small want, but, you know, it really is the simple things in life. It really fucking is. Sometimes the simple things in life are what fucking matter. And, I'm really not looking forward to dragging all these goddamn buckets downstairs at all. But I'll do it, because I have to. Now I'm just doing basic shit right here. I will, just like with the other ones, look up online, like, what my extra shit is. You know, like, do I stack this? What do I do with these? That kind of thing. Oops, shit, didn't notice the robot blood was tracking. But yeah, so that's the situation we're looking at. Like, I've got Pokemon next week. I've got my vacation planned. I'm getting a whole bunch of new mechanical shit. Plans for the channel are going forward finally after a bit of a hiatus within my hiatus kind of thing. And I'm still getting used to the fact that I can buy shit. If you have not, for whatever reason, if you're on this video of all videos, if you're on this video and you're not familiar with me, I've been really, really goddamn poor. And now that I have a job, that's starting to fade away, and I love that. Because, I mean, I use the example, you don't know what it's like to just decide on an impulse you want to go to McDonald's and have that financially fuck you for the rest of the month. I know what that's like. That's been my normal for the longest time. And now that I have this job, I can eat McDonald's every day. And I kind of do, because we have one at work and I gotta eat lunch, you know. Or I can just pop in and get a pound of chicken tenders, or what I did day before yesterday. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. That was the my job placement agent. Basically, what happened was when I went through vocational rehab, there was the whole process. You know, I wanted to be in sales, etc. And then I got the job interview for Walmart as a stalker and all that. You know, Cap 2. And I took the job. Well, the problem is my paperwork says that I wanted to be in sales, and now I have this job. So unless I go in and change my paperwork... Let me take a moment here. No, that was something else. But unless I go in and change my paperwork, she doesn't get paid and he doesn't get credit for it, etc. So I've got to basically go in and do the paperwork. And because of my schedule, I haven't been able to. But yeah, like I was saying, the thing I did the other day, the impulse buy, was I went to get my lunch, which was chicken tenders, and they were piling them in, and it just wasn't adding up to a pound. Because, you know, sometimes that happens. They grab a piece, not a pound yet. Grab another piece, still not a pound. And I had the money because there wasn't a lot of tenders in there, and I said basically, fuck it, just toss them all in. And it came out to about 1.5 pounds total. Hi, Betsy. And normally, up until recently, my funds have been so tight that I could never even really do more than dream about doing that. Just, fuck it, throw in more, you know, because it's $6 a pound. You know, that was a $9 meal. If you've never been poor, you don't know how much $9 can be. But you know what? I did it. And it didn't really hurt me that much. Basically, I had to take some change out of my desk. I'm getting to why I have change in a minute. I basically had to take $1.50 out of my desk, and I was able to cover that and a drink yesterday. So that was good. And the reason I did that to tap myself out is because I'm off today and tomorrow I get paid, so I'll go in Friday with a fresh check and be able to feed myself. So yeah, let's have a little chat about why I have change in the first goddamn place. The other day, I'm going to say Monday. No, I'm going to say it was Sunday, actually. No, fuck it was Saturday. Saturday, I decided I was going to do some laundry. And, I put my shit in the dryer, came back in the morning, because I'm really bad about following up with the dryer, and all my shit was still wet. I'm like, okay, put it back in, still wet. And then it occurred to me, okay, I think the dryer's fucked. Well, come Monday, my roommate finally confirmed that it wasn't just that my clothes were being stubborn, the dryer was fucked. So basically, Tuesday, before going to work, I had to go to the laundromat nearby. I was still able to use my washer, but I had to use their dryer, which meant coming home from work that night, Monday, I had to stop by the bank and hit the ATM and all that shit. And yeah. So that day was particularly tiresome for me because I had to do a lot more activity than I was used to. I basically pulled $5 out of the bank, turned it all into quarters, and what I didn't use at the laundromat now sits at my desk in case. And I took $1.50 out of that to cover my meal yesterday. But I can make impulse buys. I can just decide that I fucking want something stupid and then I own it. And that is a level of freedom I have never enjoyed for more than a month. Because every now and then I'll have a good month where money just comes out of nowhere, or I have less payments than usual for some reason. Like sometimes in the past for Banfield, the girls' vet, I wouldn't get billed for a month, and that's $170 right there, just suddenly out of nowhere that I have. Or like last month, I didn't have a Chewy bill because my bill kicks in every 6 weeks, and it kicked in at the end of January, so there weren't 6 weeks in February, you know what I mean? So I had no bill from Chewy for February. So if I were still on that tight of a schedule, that would have been another one of those good months for me. And when you do that, yeah, you have your good months, but at the end of the month, you're back to having to watch every goddamn penny. And I don't anymore. I still watch every goddamn penny, because that's a trait I have, and it's not really one that you want to lose. But I don't have to anymore. I can make dumbass impulse buy purchases. If I'm at work and I see something and I decide I have to have it, I'll have it. Like, I'm stocking all sorts of foods and shit. Like, one of the things I have to do is zoning, and when you zone, you basically have to go in the aisle and manually by hand adjust everything while I keep having to zone like the cookie aisle and shit. Or I have to pass the end caps of food. So I found like mint chocolate Milanos that I bought one time. Or the other day there were mint Hostess cupcakes. I'm like, oh, I'm buying some of those, and I did. You know? We had some kind of ridged Pringles. I tried those. It's just, it's nice. It's nice to think, oh, well, maybe next month when food stamps come in. No, I'm going to get it on my lunch break. And it's a very liberating feeling, and I fucking love it. And the thing that really helps is I genuinely love my job. I enjoy it. I love my job. I don't necessarily love going to work. For one thing, that's a 35-minute bike ride, and it's starting to get hot again. But, like, you're not going to find a situation where I have the choice of, oh, stay home or go to work, and I'm going to choose go to work. No. But I don't hate it when I'm at work. You know, I hate the fact that I don't necessarily have my schedule, Meaning, if I want to eat, I can't just stop and eat. You know, I have to wait for one of my 2 15-minute breaks or my lunch break. And let's be honest, I spend more time eating on my 15s than I do on lunch. But yeah, in a couple minutes I'm going to call vocational rehab up, set up that appointment, get in there, change my paperwork, because, you know, these people helped me out. They deserve the pay. You know, they deserve to get paid, they deserve the credit, and I want them to have it. It's just, I forget things, and I've been busy. And between those, you know, it doesn't leave a lot for consistency. What I am going to do is I'm going to mop the shit out of these floors until I get to where the door is at the very least. So that when I save this and reload, I'm not tracking new bullshit through the map. Although, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the door I'm looking for is upstairs. And if it is, then we're just going to save right here and I'll go back to shit next to it. But this, I kind of like this map. It's cute, it's creative. It's not a bad map by any means. I think this is... No, not this. Some of these doors are probably openable. I'm just not fucking with them yet. Wait, does this work? I'm going to have to check that later. But I think that elevator might work. Nope, doesn't seem to work. See, now I'm mentally backtracking, trying to figure out where the stairs were. Or not the stairs, but where the door is. Because I didn't start out here. Because I had to find these. I think it was downstairs. Well, fuck it. We're taking this with us. Tired of having to come upstairs for it. But yeah, if I can get even one of these elevators online, that'll save me so much trouble. Okay. Because, yeah, I found the furnace first, so that was literally the first thing I found. But yeah, things have been going real well for me. I like my job. I'm getting paid very well at my job. I mean, a person who's a little more affluent might look at my paycheck and think, how can you live off that? You know, but I'm not that person. I'm not at all that person. As far as I'm concerned, I have fucking doubled in wealth. And as I keep bringing up, mostly to encourage myself, there has been rumors that in March we will see a store-wide pay raise. And if that comes to pass, oh boy. Because that's $4 more an hour. I mean, I think I basically did the math where, like, before taxes it was like $2,400 a month I'd be making. And I am, for obvious reasons, rather excited about that kind of money. Because why shouldn't I be? But yeah, now that I've got 40 hours a week, and I've got my pay, and my tax rate isn't 30% like the Even app first thought it would be, I'm making all the money I need, you know. Like, when I thought I was making a 30%, because the Even app helps judge my hours and shit, and it tries to adjust for taxes, for reasons that I don't know. It decided that I have a 30% tax rate, that every check takes out 30%, which is not the case. The best I've been able to get the math is about 14%. And that actually underwhelms it a bit. Like, I actually lose money on that. So that's just my way of underestimating so that I, you know, or overestimating how much taxes I have so that I end up with more money than I think I have if I do any math. Like, you don't want to try and do math to figure out how much money you're getting and then find out you're $3 short because you used the wrong number. I'd rather do that same math and come up $3 ahead. Like, oh, I have $3 more than I thought. Time for food. You know, I'm gonna get a Lunchable. But yeah, I did the math that way, and the Even app was basically telling me that at 32 hours a week, at $11 an hour with a 32% or a 30% tax rate, I would just be under what I was making before, between the money from mom, food stamps, and disability, you know. And that if I jumped to 40 hours a week, I would be just barely ahead of that. Well, keep in mind, I don't have a 30% tax rate. I have a 14%, so I'm actually making a lot more money than I thought I would be making. So, yeah. And just to be on the safe side, I did the figures again if I had a 40% tax rate at $15 an hour and came out well ahead. So if I do get $15 an hour and they don't tax me 40%, then I will just... I'm done. I'm just done. I need nothing more. You know, I don't even need a bonus at that point because I've been living within a certain means for so long that I'm just able to. Now, don't get me wrong, if I do get a bonus, I will use the goddamn thing. But, and I think the bonus, I don't remember when the bonus starts. It could be 90 days, though I don't think so. It could be 6 months, it could be a year. But I think it's quarterly bonuses where every 3 months you get a bonus based on how well your attendance was. And given that I don't intend to miss any days, and that legitimate sick leave does not affect those days, we're pretty much golden. I do have to check something about paid time off when I start accruing that, because the way the instructional video made it sounds like paid time off counts as an absence for the purposes of your attendance bonus. And if that's the case, then fuck it, you know. I mean, why even give it to me? Because something tells me... I mean, let's just do a thing here. Now, given that I'm not a work person, I've never really had a job, I've definitely never had a bonus. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to whip something up here. If I, for example, got a $400 bonus, and I don't know that that's a thing, that might be ridiculous, like, why would you get a $400 bonus? But if I were to get a $400 bonus and take 1 paid time off, day off, and that counted against my perfect attendance. For those who don't know, with Walmart, if you have no absences, you get your bonus and 25% more. So if I had a $400 bonus, that would be an extra $100 for that attendance bonus. I make $88 a day. So I would be making $88 and losing $12 in the exchange. And that's just bad math. That math does no good for anybody. You know? So it's probably not worth getting an actual paid time off day if it affects my bonus. Unless I've already missed a certain number of days for whatever reason, in which case, fuck it. May as well get paid for it. But if it doesn't, then you can bet your ass I'm actually going to use my paid time off. Alright, this time I'm going to dip the mop before I take it down, just in case I spill it again. Just like that. Oh yeah. Mop, mop, mop. But job's actually going pretty good, and granted I'm losing my days, you know, I'm losing a lot of my time, but that's okay, because to be perfectly honest, I spent most of that time asleep anyway. You know, it's the damnedest thing. I cannot for the life of me figure this out, but I don't have any nap urge, you know. At home, today, I guarantee, today and tomorrow I'm going to nap at some point. And it's not because I'm tired, because I've been staying up from 8 a.m. to 4 a.m. every goddamn day. You know, I didn't get to bed today until like 5. So, and yet, I don't get tired on a work day. That's the reason I stay up so late, is because I don't get tired. I want to stay up, and I'm like, no, go to sleep now or work's gonna suck a dick tomorrow, you know? And, the fuck is this damn door at? Alright, I really want to find this door before I go anywhere. Because I wanna log off, but I want to know where the door is going to be, because I don't want to track bloody goddamn footprints everywhere. Is this it? No, that's not it. But yeah, I've actually been watching Markiplier play Resident Evil 2's new game, the new remake of it, and it's kind of a mixed bag for me, because on the one hand, the game itself looks great, it looks like it's a lot of fun, but I really, so far, find it to be inferior to the other one for story reasons. Now, don't get me wrong, the dialogue's great and all that. It's nice to finally see Leon as a person, with a personality. Like, I've made very little secret about the fact that Leon is my second least favorite Resident Evil protagonisty character. Steve is the worst. Steve is the worst. You cannot argue Steve is the worst. From Code Veronica. It's a shitty character from a shitty game. But, But Leon was kind of a close second for me for that, because he's just not good. He's just this boring, literal superhuman. You know, he's literally got superhuman powers. In, you know, some of the Resident Evil's like, yeah, I'm just gonna jump 20 feet straight down and not break my ankle. You know, dude, I took a step off a ladder that had another step and almost snapped my ankle. You're not gonna tell me you're gonna jump out of a 20-foot tower and be fucking fine, dude. I know you're an action hero, but come on, really? Okay, so there's that. Alright, I found the door. I was next to it the whole fucking time. Which means that if I had just turned left when I spawned in, I'd have found the buckets right away. I feel monumentally stupid. Feel free to mock me about my blindness in the comments. Apparently I'm too blind to read them. Yeah, sorry. With that level of obliviousness, I deserve any and all mockery I get for it. So yeah, we're gonna get these blood spatters up. I'm gonna try and get them all done before I finally stop this recording. And then I'll worry about the other shit later. Oh god, I forgot that happened. Right, this is obviously a stacking room for something. Damned if I know what. Probably boxes. Maybe barrels. Hope it's not robots. Because I tossed their asses into the scrap heap already. Alright, that's not all the blood, but it's most of the blood. So we're going to actually stop here. We're going to save. And we're going to save over save 0. And I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.